This is section 3.2. We're going to practice with the graph of y equals mx plus b. First of all, we need to be comfortable solving for y no matter what our equation looks like. So we're going to start with number 1. And we're going to put each equation in the form of y equals mx plus b. And we're going to note what our slope and what our y-intercept are. For this number 1, hopefully you'll agree with me that y is being multiplied by 3. That means I need to divide y by 3 on this side, and thus divide everything else on the other side by 3. 9 divided by 3 gives me 3x plus 4. In this case, my slope, or my m value, is 3, and my y-intercept, or my b value, is 4. In this crazy equation, I'm going to have several steps. Hopefully you're okay with me adding 400y on both sides to combine my y variable, and subtracting 200x on both sides to combine my x variables in the same step. When I add over here, I get 900y, and when I subtract over here, I'm going to get 100x. Now my final step is again to solve by dividing both sides by 900. And over here it's going to cancel, and I'm going to get y equals 1/9 x plus, let's call that 10/9, or 1 and 1/9. In this case, my m, or my slope, is 1/9, and my b would be 10/9, or 1 and 1/9. All right, let's try it with fractions. No one really likes fractions. So let's go ahead and clear them. What's the smallest number 2, 3, and 4 all divide into? Hopefully you'll agree with me that it's 12. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 12. And when I do, what is 12 times 1/2? That'd be 6. What's 12 times 1/3? That'd be 4. And coming this way, 12 times 1/4 will give me 3 plus 12x. Now this is in a form that most of us are a lot more comfortable with. Let's combine our x variables. I'm going to subtract 6x on both sides. Over here it cancels, and now I finally have my y variable almost all alone. To get it in the final step, I need to divide both sides by 4 and simplify. Now I have y equals 3/4 plus 6/4, or 3 halves x, or 1.5x. When you go to graph, it's nicer to put these improper fractions into mixed numbers. But for now, please notice, for your y-intercept, that is, it's easier if your improper fractions are mixed numbers. On your slope, just so I'm clear, you always want to leave that as a fraction. So here, the m value that's being multiplied by x is 3/2, so that's my slope. It's positive. I go up 3 and over 2. And my y-intercept, or my b value, is 3/4. Okay, last one. Let's combine the y's, again, by subtracting y on both sides. And if it's okay, I'll go ahead and subtract 2x on both sides in the same step. And I get negative 2y equals positive x. Now to solve for y, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. And I get y equals a negative 1/2x. Now my slope is a negative 1/2, and my y-intercept, since I don't have one, is 0. All right, now that we got a little more comfortable with our format, let's move on. If two lines have the same slope, then they are parallel. If two non-vertical lines are parallel, then they have the same slope. This goes both directions. So let's practice some graphing, and let's talk about what slope something would have to be parallel to these lines. For this first graph right here, please notice your M and B values. Your M value is 2, that's your slope. And remember, if it's a whole number, we always put it over 1. Your B value is a -3. That's your y-intercept, and that's where we're going to begin on our line. I'm going to start at -3, and then I go up 2 and over 1, and connect my dots. This line would be parallel to any other line with a slope of 2. All right, let's go ahead and look at number 2 here. Please identify your slope and y-intercept. My slope is a -2/3, and my y-intercept is 1. So when I go to graph, I'm going to start at 1, and I'm going to go down 2 and over 3, and connect my dots. Any line with a slope of -2/3 would be parallel to number 2. Please notice that your domain, your x values are all reals, and your range, your possible y values are all reals. Same for this graph as well. Number 3. First, in number 3, please notice that you actually have to solve for y. So we're going to do that by dividing both sides by 3. Now I have a new equation, y equals 2/3 x minus 5. And please identify your slope and y-intercept. Looks to me like your slope is 2/3, and your y-intercept is -5. So we'll come over here to our graph. I'm going to start at -5. My slope is positive, so I'm going to go up, and I go up 2 and over 3. I connect my dots, and I'm done. Notice that my domain is all reals, and my range is all reals. All right, let's look at number 4. And number 5. Number 4 is a little bit different because it only has one value. Y equals -3. Now please notice here, you essentially have an x, it's just a 0x. So that's going to mean that your slope is 0. For whatever x is over here, it's being multiplied by 0, so it's gone. So, and you have a y-intercept. It's essentially -3. So what we're going to do is come down here to -3, and notice that y is always -3. When x is 0, y is -3. When x is 1, y is -3. When x is 5, y is -3. And when we connect those dots, we realize that every y equals line is horizontal. It is the laid back dude. It is always horizontal, like it's taken a nap. And your domain here is all reals, but your range only has the value of 3. That's all that's in there. Because for each and every value of x, 3 is the output for y. What do you think is going to happen for number 5 when x equals 5? Well, now I don't have a y at all, so I don't have a slope. My slope is essentially undefined. It's the null set. We don't have one. There is no slope. And your y-intercept is non-existent as well. So let's look at this. If you have y equal to 5 when y is 0, y also must be equal to 5 when y is 3. X, did I say that wrong? Sorry. X is equal to 5 when y is 0. X is equal to 5 when y is 3. And x is equal to 5 when y is -3. Notice the kind of line that we are always going to get when we have x equals. X is the straight up dude. He is always vertical and always on the job. He is always straight up. Notice here about your domain and range. Here the domain, the only value for x you have is 5, while your range contains all the values, or all reals. All right, please read this section, and I will see you tomorrow.